All right, guys, today we're gonna use the FC-200 and try to clone a Ford Escape PCM. This one was totally creamed, as you can see. Not sure if we're actually gonna be able to read any data off of this because of this damage here. But we're gonna try and see if we can read the data, recover the data from this PCM. There's the part number, and we've got our donor, same part number. This is a 17 Focus 2.0 turbo, same platform as the ST. So we're gonna see you back at the FC-200 when we hook up. All right, guys, so back on the bench. I've got the new PCM or the replacement hooked up according to this, and I'm unable to communicate. So that could mean a couple of things. Could be this is not exactly correct for this PCM. Or it could be that it cannot read this PCM, or it can be a couple other things. It could be this is even defective. I don't know. I haven't tested it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I connected up the old one, and I had the same response. I was unable to connect with the FC-200 to communicate with it, to identify it or anything. I double-checked my wiring diagram, and all the pinouts for the powers and grounds are correct, and the CAN, these are of course unlisted, the brown and the purple, so I can't really verify that one. Either way, it's unable to communicate. So I'm going to put this on the bench and connect with it directly through my breakout box and a scanner, and see if I can communicate with it. If I can communicate with it, I should be able to then just put this onto the network, and the FC-200 should be able to at least identify it. Once it can identify it, then it should be able to read it. So I'm going to come back after I try that. Hopefully on the bench I can identify it on the breakout box, or I can communicate with it. Once I can communicate with it, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to clone it, which would mean that the powers and grounds that they listed or they put are insufficient, most likely, but we got to see. I also added an extra power and ground just in case to see, but still didn't work. So we'll be back on the breakout box. Hey guys, so what I went ahead and did before I pulled this all out to put on the breakout box, I just connected up with my, if you've seen this, watch my other videos, you've seen this, you know what this is, and I'm connected to my scanner, and I connected into CAN high and CAN low, and I am able to communicate with this PCM. So I'm going to try to replicate it on the damaged one and see if I can communicate with that one. So this pinout is correct, except for these two ports I cannot verify, but that's what it's listed. But the program is still, the FC-200 still has problems communicating with this PCM. So I got to do a little bit more digging, see what's going on here. Yeah, so I'll update you guys in a bit. All right, man. I feel like the total tool, man. I double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked. And here's what happened. Everything was right, except for some reason, I don't know how, I had this purple one into the third slot instead of the fourth slot. I don't know how that's possible. I checked and checked and checked. Everything was right except for that. So now when I do identification, I just unplugged and replugged everything. Identification. And there it is. So I can read the flash and everything. Let's go to modify VIN. See if it gives us that option, if it works. Under this one, it's probably gonna let me save the D flash. Yep. I'm gonna call this, let's see, 17 donor PCM. Save. Yes, so I can modify the VIN. All right, I'm gonna change that later. Cancel. Oh, I just gotta hit OK. So there's no changes there. All right, so let's read the P flash. So reading the P flash. Sorry guys, made this video end up being longer than it should be. I goofed up on this one, but we got it going. I'll come back to you in a second. Guys, so just finished the PCM, so I'm just gonna save it as donor PCM. I'm sorry, the P flash. Save. So I'm thinking 2 plans of attack. I can just change, not plugged in. Yeah, so basically here's the 2 plans of attack I was gonna implement. One, I can try again and read the damaged one and see if I can do a 1-to-1 clone and see if the car will just start, which I'm not so hopeful for this thing. 2, I can just change the VIN number and then just program the security portion, and being that this is exactly the same build out, same engine, everything, it should actually start just fine and have the correct VIN number. So let me hook back up to the destroyed one and see what happens. I decided to just go ahead and do the VIN change since I'm already connected to the unit. So I went ahead and changed it, and I just read it back, and it's now the correct VIN. So I'm going to connect now to the broken one and see if there's a way to read this thing. Nope, guys, this one is definitely dead. One thing I noticed that was strange, I only had this one hooked up, and I hooked up this power, and I got a spark contact as if I was also had a ground. So that kind of tells me something in there is being shorted out. So this one's a no-go. Cannot read. So I'm just going to do the VIN change like I did, and I'll be back at the car. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to make a part 2. It's getting a little bit long, and I just came from looking at the car, and there's actually a lot of wiring damage on that car, so I will not just be able to connect it and finish programming like I expected. So look out for part 2, and let's see the next steps in terminating finishing this programming.